12 minutes past the hour right now, and listen to this. Nearly 5,000 packs of cheese sold at Aldi have been recalled because they might have metal fragments in them.
You did this 1,000 times during your grocery run this week. You grabbed your regular items and checked out. But you subconsciously noticed something was deeply wrong with the packages. Your eyes are not playing tricks on you. Retail inventory tracking data confirms that grocery networks are executing a massive back-end quality drawdown. This isn't random inflation. Corporate processing networks are aggressively thinning out product choices to mask shrinking global manufacturing assets. If you ignore these subtle visual tells, your regular kitchen budget will soon hit an expensive wall. The boxed cereal packaging shift sitting at number 1 serves as the absolute blueprint for this entire distribution collapse. Number 11. Shifting bagged potato volumetrics. Do not assume a full wooden bin of bagged potatoes means your local carbohydrate supply is stable. The heavy paper sacks look identical to the ones you bought last year. This visual consistency is a deliberate retail illusion. Wholesalers are actively packing smaller, lower-grade visual specimens into opaque bags. They want to hide poor crop yields from the public eye before an explicit price jump hits. The Global Agricultural Input Index shows a severe spike in commercial fertilizer expenses. Farm operating logs reveal that intensive farming soil exhaustion has reached critical thresholds. Changing regional weather patterns are causing wide variations in potato sizes across major fields. Large corporate potato processors are outbidding standard consumer retail networks. They want to secure remaining high-grade outputs for profitable fast food supply chains. This specific crop constriction is radiating straight out of northwestern domestic agricultural zones. A baseline 5-pound paper sack that currently carries a $4 retail price floor is on a locked upward trend. The cost will hit an expensive projected price floor of $6 before the summer transit agreements rekey. Warehouse distributors are packing smaller, lower-grade visual specimens into opaque paper sacks to hide poor crop yields from the public. The analytical shopper must buy loose individual produce items by weight to ensure they are paying only for genuine usable mass. Transfer your raw potatoes out of plastic mesh bags into breathable burlap sacks immediately. Store them inside a dark cellar setup completely away from onions to prevent premature sprouting. Securing your root vegetable volume will save your kitchen from immediate produce counter spikes, but your home reserves will remain deeply vulnerable if you fail to spot the changing color profiles in the cooking oil section. Number 10. Murky Extra Virgin Olive Oil. Hue. A crowded row of green glass oil bottles looks like a permanent shield against cooking aisle inflation. Casual shoppers glance at these premium imports and assume original blending standards are perfectly intact. This comfort is a dangerous mistake. It will compromise your emergency meal planning. Processing plants are quietly thinning down their product clarity long before the store shelves sit empty. The Global Vegetable Oil Index confirms that Mediterranean grove stress has reached historic levels. Corporate quarterly summaries show that international import logistics fees have doubled over the past 12 months. At the same time, commercial food production firms are aggressively outbidding consumer retail stores. They want to secure pure oil allocations for high-margin industrial restaurant chains. The core bottleneck originates straight from highly restricted European specialized orchard hubs. This regional supply constriction ensures that genuine retail options will continue to decline over the coming months. A standard bottle of extra virgin oil carrying a current price floor of 35 cents per ounce is facing an immediate reprice. The cost will land at a punishing projected cost of 55 cents per ounce before the next distribution cycle rekeys. Commercial blenders are cutting dark premium oils with pale canola variants under identical historic labeling to protect their dipping margins. The tactical kitchen manager must check the exact harvest date stamped on the back glass before checking out at the register. Keep your original green glass bottles stored inside a dark kitchen cabinet strictly below 70 degrees. Avoid exposing the liquid to ambient cooking steam to stop early rancidity inside the container. Slowing down cooking oil degradation will protect your recipe quality, but your entire storage balance will crack if your basic dairy containers break under their own weight. Number 9. Thin-walled plastic milk jugs. Do not let a fully stocked dairy cooler convince you that basic fluid packaging is stable and secure. The rows of white translucent jugs look exactly like the ones you grew up with. This physical presence is a massive retail trap. Large dairy operations are aggressively shrinking the physical plastic weight of their containers. They want to trim transport overhead metrics without changing the exterior label dimensions. The Global High-Density Polyethylene Resin Index indicates that raw polymer processing costs have climbed to extreme thresholds. Corporate financial updates reveal that escalating long-haul freight fuel surcharges are draining retail shipping allocations. Major packaging firms are adjusting their automated machinery to reduce material usage. They are pushing out brittle plastic shells that fail under ordinary transport stress. The primary point of pressure flows directly through domestic petrochemical distillation networks. The lack of raw chemical feedstocks means retail consumer stocks are facing hidden material quality downgrades. A basic gallon of whole milk that currently costs a $3.50 retail floor is on an irreversible upward path. It will reach an expensive projected price floor of $5 before the summer transit agreements reprice entirely. Large dairy operations are shrinking the physical plastic weight of their containers to trim transport overhead metrics. The defensive consumer must handle these new brittle jugs with extreme care to avoid catastrophic leaks on the car floor. Never stack unsealed plastic milk jugs directly on top of each other inside your refrigerator unit. Maintain a flat, level positioning to protect the thin base seams from cracking open under cumulative pressure. Securing your fluid dairy containers will save your kitchen from sudden cleanup costs, but your entire workshop capability will still grind to a halt if your underlying canned goods develop rust along their inner seams. Number 8. Missing canned soup condensation. Do not assume a full shelf of metal soup tins means your long-term food reserves are safe from quality deterioration. The colorful labels look completely untouched by distribution shifts. This visual setup is a dangerous retail illusion. Packing conglomerates are quietly changing their structural container specifications behind the scenes. They are cutting down on high-grade internal materials long before the cans show external damage. The Global Tin Plate Raw Material Index shows an unprecedented spike in metal container manufacturing premiums. Corporate warehouse reports indicate that production line upgrades have introduced cheaper, alternative chemical barriers. These thin coatings fail much faster under ordinary basement storage conditions. Multinational food distributors are moving early. They are outbidding consumer retail networks to clear out remaining original quality stock for industrial institutional clients. This specific material constriction is radiating straight from highly consolidated international industrial manufacturing corridors. The lack of raw protective inputs means consumer retail stocks are vulnerable to sudden micro-failures. A standard tin of condensed soup that currently carries a stable retail price floor of $1.50 is moving on a locked upward trajectory. It will land at an expensive projected price floor of $2.30 before the next retail procurement window opens. Packing conglomerates are cutting back on defensive inner chemical linings to save on container manufacturing expenses. The forward-thinking household must inspect seams for early rust lines before adding old stock to their emergency pantry blocks. Wipe down all metal rims with clean microfiber cloths before final storage positioning. Eliminate all exposure to room temperature humidity to stop rust from attacking the outer seams. Protecting your metal containers from hidden corrosion will save your pantry assets, but your entire kitchen budget will still collapse if you ignore the shrinking physical weight of your favorite sweet treats. Number 7. Hollowed-out chocolate bar bases. Walking past candy aisles packed with long chocolate bars creates a false impression of manufacturing health. Casual shoppers assume confections are too minor to undergo systematic structural alterations. Do not let this geometric consistency fool you. Candy corporations are actively retooling their automated molding lines. They are altering the physical shape of the product to pull out raw volume without changing the outer box dimensions. The Global Cocoa Bean Commodity Index confirms a severe raw material supply squeeze. Corporate earnings files reveal that manufacturing firms are facing massive procurement deficits. Changing international trade barriers are adding steep compliance fees to raw ingredients. large confectionery brands are actively dropping thin-margin chocolate lines. They are focusing their remaining warehouse stock on expensive holiday gift assortments to maximize back-end returns. This entire agricultural constriction is tied straight to restricted equatorial maritime shipping lanes. A standard large chocolate bar carrying a current stable retail price floor of $2 is on a vertical upward curve. The cost will hit a projected price floor of $3.50 before the summer contract cycle resets completely. Confectionery corporations are molding deep geometric indentations into the bottom of candy bars to reduce product weight while maintaining the same exterior wrapper size. The disciplined shopper must read the exact net weight metric on the back, rather than trusting the visual size of the box. Place your spare chocolate treats inside dark vacuum-sealed glass containers immediately. Maintain a constant storage temperature below 65 degrees to completely prevent white sugar blooming. Checking the exact weight of your confections will stop hidden retail cash leaks, but your entire home cleaning infrastructure will fall apart if your multi-surface liquids drop their chemical potency. Number 6. Scentless multi-surface cleaners. Do not let a bright wall of pine and citrus cleaners trick you into thinking household sanitation lines are stable. The clear spray bottles suggest that raw liquid supplies are abundant and unchanged. This comfort is a major strategic mistake. Multinational brands are quietly executing back-end formula cuts. They are stripping active cleaning enzymes out of consumer retail jugs to shield corporate profits from rising chemical extraction costs. Chemical manufacturer raw ingredient limits have triggered a severe allocation crisis across blending facilities. The latest industrial reports indicate that supply system imbalances are forcing major brands to prioritize industrial medical accounts over standard home retail shelves. Corporate logistics files show that freight transport surcharges have reached critical levels, forcing factories to thin out heavy liquid varieties. The geographic origin of this chemical constriction is centered inside specialized foreign processing facilities. This localized bottleneck ensures that retail consumer cleaning stocks will continue to drop in active potency. A standard bottle of home cleaner that currently holds a baseline retail price floor of $4 is facing an immediate reprice. It will jump to a punishing projected cost of 65 cents before the seasonal transit agreements rekey. Multinational brands are reducing active pine and citrus oil concentrations down to near zero levels to mask escalating extraction costs. The strategic asset protector must switch to basic white vinegar bases to sustain home cleaning capabilities without paying premium brand markups. Store all concentrated household cleaners upright on high wooden tracking shelves. Protect the inventory from winter freezing to completely stop chemical separation inside the plastic bottle. This retail disruption reveals a much larger coordinated shift inside the global industrial landscape. We are no longer dealing with isolated factory delays or temporary price adjustments in a single supermarket section. Every everyday item on your shelf is a physical manifestation of a deeper systemic infection. Increased global crude oil prices and volatile naphtha derivative cycles are fundamentally breaking the cost structure of modern manufacturing. When foundational raw chemical components become restricted, the entire downstream distribution network undergoes severe order compression. The items you see on shelves today are drawing down on old pre-repriced inventory contracts that cannot be renewed at the same baseline value. Understanding this macro pattern is the only way to insulate your private domestic household from a massive structural asset drain. Subscribe to this channel immediately to secure your place in our network and ensure you receive our next private infrastructure briefing. Number 5. Brittle paper flour sacks. Do not assume a wall of white flour bags means your household grain supply is perfectly secure from retail manipulation. The paper wrapping looks identical to the packages you have bought for years. This visual stability is a dangerous illusion. Milling companies are quietly changing their packaging paper density behind the scenes. They want to absorb rising production costs before the next major price shift hits the grocery tags. The Global Timber Processing Mill Index shows a sudden drop in baseline paperboard manufacturing. Corporate logistics data reveals that rising transport expenses have forced flour mills to cut back on protective packaging liners. Large distribution networks are aggressively outbidding consumer retail stores to divert high-grade unlined paper stocks to profitable commercial bakeries. This resource shift leaves consumer grocery displays highly vulnerable to hidden material degradation. The primary cause of this packaging constriction is concentrated inside upper Midwestern forestry zones. A standard 5-pound flour bag that currently carries a 50-cent retail price floor is on an irreversible upward path. The cost will hit an expensive projected price floor of 85 cents before the summer contract cycle resets entirely. Milling monopolies are transitioning to lower-grade unlined paper wrapping to absorb climbing packaging bills on thin-margin grains. The alert home baker must move fresh sacks out of store paper packaging immediately to block kitchen pests from entering the grain core. Place new grain bags into the freezer for 48 hours to completely neutralize natural insect eggs. Transition the flour into large, airtight glass jars to guarantee long-term pantry safety. Protecting your baking grains from hidden pantry pests is a vital tactical move, but your entire kitchen capability will still freeze up if your basic dairy blocks drop their active cheese aging cycles. Number 4. Watery block cheese. Textures. A full cooler of yellow cheddar blocks looks like a permanent shield against dairy aisle inflation. Most buyers look at these vacuum-sealed items and assume cheese aging standards are perfectly intact. This comfort is a dangerous mistake. It will compromise your long-term emergency meal planning. Processing plants are quietly shortening their natural storage timelines long before the retail cases sit completely empty. The Global Dairy Farm Energy Index indicates that industrial processing costs have climbed to extreme thresholds. Corporate quarterly statements confirm that high cold chain infrastructure costs are draining retail transport allocations. Major cheese processors are adjusting their manufacturing steps to lock higher moisture retention levels inside the curd. This trick artificially inflates package weights while using significantly less raw milk volume. The core bottleneck originates straight from highly consolidated Midwestern cheese aging centers. This regional supply constriction ensures that genuine consumer retail stock choices will continue to decline. A standard block of cheese carrying a current retail price floor of $4.50 is facing an immediate reprice. It will land at a punishing projected cost of $7 per block before the winter procurement window closes. Processing networks are shortening their natural aging cycles and leaving higher moisture retention levels inside the cheese to artificially inflate package weights. The vigilant grocery buyer must avoid these rubbery blocks to prevent quick mold development after opening. Wrap opened cheese blocks tightly in parchment paper before sealing them inside a heavy zipper bag. Keep the packages in the coldest section of your refrigerator crisper drawer to maximize the remaining storage life. Slowing down dairy mold development will protect your home food investment, but your entire protein layout will collapse if your neighborhood butcher sections eliminate individual choice completely. Number 3. Missing ground beef. Varieties. Do not let a packed meat display convince you that fresh protein lines are safe from back-end corporate consolidation. The rows of red ground beef packages look completely abundant to the casual observer. This physical presence is a massive retail trap. Supermarket meat managers are quietly cutting down on individual lean percentage selections behind the scenes. They want to force shoppers into buying expensive pre-packaged bulk meat tubes to protect their shrinking store margins. The Global Livestock Index confirms that domestic cattle herd sizes have dropped to their lowest numbers in decades. International border transport restrictions are creating unexpected logistics delays at processing stations. Wholesale procurement summaries reveal that corporate commercial restaurant groups are outbidding consumer retail chains by massive margins to lock down remaining fresh beef allocations. The geographic origin of this protein crisis is centered inside highly restricted Southern Plains livestock processing corridors. Any shipment disruption along these long-haul transport lanes instantly triggers inventory drops at the neighborhood store level. A standard package of lean ground beef with a current price floor of $5 is moving on a locked upward trajectory. It will reach a punishing projected cost of $8 per pound before the next retail contract cycle rekeys. Supermarket meat managers are cutting down on specialized lean percentages to force shoppers into buying expensive, pre-packaged bulk tubes. The tactical consumer must build a relationship with a local custom butcher now before commercial store cuts completely eliminate individual choices. Divide large meat purchases into half-pound patties using clean wax paper separators today. Vacuum seal the portions and freeze them immediately to lock in freshness for 12 months. The remaining 2 items on our list represent the absolute peak of visual deception and packaging vulnerability in the entire modern supermarket ecosystem. Number 2. Grainy scented laundry detergents. Do not assume a stacked cleaning aisle of bright cardboard detergent boxes means your home sanitation supply is secure from material degradation. The oversized packages look exactly like the ones you bought last season. This visual consistency is a deliberate corporate trick. Soap conglomerates are actively retooling their chemical blending lines behind the scenes. They want to pack consumer boxes with cheap, heavy mineral ballasts to maintain package weight while cutting active ingredients. The Global Mineral Filler Index indicates that sodium sulfate pricing has jumped to historic highs. Corporate quarterly summaries confirm that global chemical processing disruptions have severely restricted active cleaning enzyme allocations. Wholesale shipping logs show that escalating long-haul freight costs are forcing manufacturers to adjust their formulas. They are substituting active cleaning agents with cheap chalk fillers to protect corporate development margins before an explicit price reset lands on retail tags. This specific chemical constriction is radiating straight from regional industrial production hubs. The lack of raw chemical feedstocks means retail consumer washing powders are facing hidden asset stripping. A standard box of powdered detergent carrying a current retail price floor of $12 is on a locked upward trend. It will reach an expensive projected price floor of $19 per tub before the summer transit contracts rekey. Soap conglomerates are packing their cardboard boxes with cheap chalk and sodium sulfate fillers while reducing active cleaning enzymes to historical lows. The analytical household must switch to liquid concentrates or pure washing sodas today to avoid paying high freight fees on useless powder ballast. Keep your dry laundry boxes inside heavy plastic totes completely off damp basement floors today. Use reusable desiccant bags inside the container to prevent the powder from turning into a solid, unusable rock. Protecting your laundry reserves from environmental humidity will save your washing budget, but your entire household storage strategy will fall apart if you ignore the changing physical dimensions of the breakfast aisle. Number 1. Boxed cold cereal. Displaced volume. A fully displayed wall of bright breakfast boxes looks like the ultimate sign of modern grocery abundance. Homeowners assume basic grain assets will always be accessible for quick family meals. This assumption is a fatal systemic blind spot. The sub-tier material packaging shortages hidden inside these units dictate the true baseline pricing of every single downstream grocery product on the shelf. The double exposure mechanism at play here is a massive visual deception. High fructose grain shortages are colliding directly with extreme paperboard processing inflation to fundamentally reshape the shelf. Automated assembly trackers indicate that precision cardboard manufacturing lines have hit their lowest production volumes in decades. Extreme nearshoring logistics. Complexity has forced food monopolies to ration their weekly shipment allocations. International trade tariff waves are adding an immediate baseline compliance surcharge to every incoming raw ingredient delivery. This primary point of failure is concentrated inside domestic manufacturing and shipping lanes. Food monopolies are aggressively adjusting their box-cutting machinery. They are thinning out the side profile of cardboard boxes while keeping the front face wide to trick your eyes into seeing a full value on the shelf. A standard large cereal box that currently carries a baseline retail floor of $4 is moving on a locked upward trajectory. It will reach a punishing projected cost of $6.75 per box before the next retail procurement cycle rekeys. Food monopolies are thinning out the side profile of cardboard boxes while keeping the front face wide to trick your eyes into seeing a full value on the shelf. The calculated individual must recognize that these deceptive packaging shifts are clear material proof that the traditional retail grocery system can no longer sustain its own weight. Move your breakfast cereal flakes out of flimsy store paperboard packaging immediately. Transition the grains into rigid plastic containers with tight silicone seals. Store them on dark pantry shelves completely away from room temperature heat vents. The physical survival of your home food infrastructure depends entirely on the inventory choices you execute before the retail distribution network closes down completely. Do not panic buy or clear grocery shelves this week. True preparation relies entirely on calculated, rational rotation. Begin your phased resource consolidation today by securing your boxed grains and fresh protein choices first. Next week, transition your grocery budget toward dense baking purees and authentic cooking oils to protect your household nutritional capabilities. Data always moves significantly faster than the physical store shelf. Lock in today's asset value before the wholesale pricing matrix resets completely. Subscribe to this channel immediately to secure your place in our network and ensure you receive our next private infrastructure briefing.